and so much glory in the Women's Euros have been taking a well-earned break before their new season begins. But ITV News got an invitation from one of their stars, goalkeeper Mary Earps, to come out to the holiday island of Crete and join her for a remarkable interview. Mary Earps quickly became one of the tournament's iconic figures, both for the brilliant saves she made in game after game and for her infectious sense of humour and team spirit. Indeed, several pundits voted her player of the match after her performance at the final. Chloe Keedy sat down to talk to her.
England's star goalkeeper might be 2,000 miles away from Wembley, but she can't escape the fact that life has changed.
I definitely got recognised a little bit in the airport, which no one normally cares what I do, so this is going to be a steep learning curve.
What are you going to have?
What do we like? Oh, I think the Bueno will be a bit of me, actually. And Snickers too. Okay, can I get a scoop of Snickers and a scoop of Kinder Bueno, please?
After a whirlwind few weeks, this holiday is a chance to relax and reflect.
Has it finally sunk in yet?
No. Nowhere near, I don't think. I keep feeling like, is this real? Has this really happened?
But the United keeper...
Perhaps because Mary, who plays for Manchester United, had thought her brief international career was over.
It just seemed to take a real downward spiral out of nowhere. Then COVID hit, and then it just kind of continued from there. And the longer it went on, the longer I thought, okay, this is just not going to happen for me.
What a scramble! Earps grabs.
She'd been preparing to retire from the game altogether when England manager Sarina Wiegman picked her for this summer's squad. And thank goodness she did.
I was almost like preparing for life after for that last contract. And then September last year, obviously, everything changed again. And there's just been this wild turnaround. And now I can't imagine that I'm sitting here talking to you in Greece.
No wonder she's taken to dancing on the tables. Although Mary insists she didn't intend for quite so many people to see.
I saw Sarina, I made a beeline. I jumped on the table, I looked up to a sea of cameras and TV cameras, and oh God. So I had to sort of commit, but I carried on, I wiggled my hips.
You owned
and
it.
Then I got down and I said to Sarina, okay, we're done now, and bolted as quickly as I could.
Were the parties as good as they looked?
I mean, I think they were pretty wild. 2 days was enough, and then had to get straight on a plane and try and get some rest and sun.
But no sooner had their hangovers lifted, the whole team was calling on the government not to let this moment slip by, to give girls better access to football than they had themselves when they were at school.
You know, I played with the boys on the breaks. You know, I wore trousers and certain types of shoes so that I could play football at break times and lunch times. I had a really good experience with, in my secondary school, definitely as it got later, but earlier I faced a lot of challenges.
So people keep describing this as a watershed moment for the women's game. Do you think it is?
I hope so. I really hope so. I think time will tell. I think people are talking about it in that way. If we look back in a year or a couple of years' time, we can really put a marker down and say, you know what, that was the moment it all changed. 31st of July 2022, leaving the game in a better place. That's what we're talking about.
It wasn't until Mary signed up to her local girls' team at the age of 10 and took a turn at being in goal that the penny dropped.
There was a penalty given against us, and I saved it. And after that, that was it. I never wanted to do anything else. I just loved it. That feeling of helping the team, but also diving around in the mud. And that was it. I was convinced, and I trained as a goalkeeper ever since, really.
One person that supported her all the way is her gran. Mary posted this video on TikTok of her cheering the team on from home.
I don't think my gran realises how famous she is.
What did she make of it all?
She was just so happy. I spoke to her a couple of times. The day we went to Trafalgar Square, I spoke to her on the coach, and she was just saying, I'm so pleased for you. I've had so many phone calls from my friends.
Which trophy would you like to lift next?
Obviously the World Cup, no doubt. I'd like to lift the World Cup, and I'd like to win the Champions League. So those are the two ones I'd absolutely love to cross off my list.
Oh, no pressure. That's, you know.
No pressure, just the biggest ones ever. 1 down, 2 to go.
But first, she's earned a rest.
So do you feel like you're starting to relax now? Is this the start?
This ice cream is the start of me unwinding.
Mary Earps has big ambitions, not just for herself, but for the very future of football. But for a few days at least, all that is on ice. Chloe Keedy, ITV News, Crete.